Episode episode 6 of the Revamped podcast. We are again sitting like this because we have a guest.
Again.
I'm gonna let Omi introduce the big man.
This big man, as Isa likes to say, because he likes to say big man a lot.
Big man.
He's a friend of
He
mine.
actually is a big man.
He is. He's like 6'50". Anyways, this guy goes by Teague Swar, aka Sunshine. Come on in, Sunshine. Woo! There we go, boy. Yes, sir. Oh, gotcha. Are we really?
You forget
already. This is on the pod. All right, cool. All right.
Bro, you failed. We good, bro. I'm in the chair. Chilling.
We still chilling. Oh, all right. Here's your mic.
Bro, don't know the procedure.
All right. How you been, Sunshine?
All right.
How's life?
I'm surviving.
Off of what?
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Got into that quick. Hallelujah. So I brought you in because I find you very interesting, bro. First of all, you're like 6'5".
Yeah.
Why are you 6'5"?
I have no idea.
You're not 6'5". How tall are you actually?
I'm 6'4".
Okay.
Spare me some inches, please.
I ain't got any.
Wait, what?
I spend them all.
Was it genetics?
Yeah. Huh?
Genetics?
Nah. My dad's 5'10". My mom's 5'6". Both my brothers are like 5'8", 5'9".
How?
What?
Where'd it come from?
Are you sure that's your family?
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's got my umbilical cord
Oh.
in a book. I'm not even joking.
Actually?
She got all of our umbilical cords in like these plastic covers and like picture books of us as babies. She got
And
like
my mom has that as well.
three big binders.
Okay. So that is your family.
Yeah.
It's just the tallest one.
Yeah, it don't make sense. I mean, my great grandpa on my mom's side was 6 foot. And
That was it?
that's
6
the best.
foot?
And then like my dad's like second cousins are the Weavers. They're all like over 6 foot. They're like the closest ones.
That's it, dude.
Yeah.
So you're just the tallest guy?
Yeah.
You got that.
Don't make no sense.
Well, because when I first met you, how did we meet, Sunshine?
Bro, so I was 15.
15.
No.
Turning 16.
I was 16, turning 17. 16, turning 17.
Yeah.
Now, I was like, man, I want to get a car.
Yeah.
So I started working at Wendy's. I was like $11 an hour. Bro, my brother started at $7.50 an hour. This is great. I'm doing way better than them. So I started working at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Little did I know, like, the torture there that goes on. But
What kind of torture?
Wait. Y'all met at Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Shoot, bro. It was at least a year ago. Oh, like I would say
A year ago?
No.
No, I worked there for a year.
Huh?
It's been 2 years, bro.
2 years? Nah.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
No, because I think I met you like a year ago.
Yeah.
I think that was like the last time I saw you.
Kid
you not, it's been a
Yeah,
minute.
I remember the first thing you said, but I don't think I can say it on the pod.
I remember.
He drove 100 miles per hour just to tell us that, bro.
Yeah. Bro came out. No, I'm not talking about that. Bro came out and he was showing us his phone and he was like, yeah, I turned it off so my mom can't track me. And he opens up his phone and it shows exactly what he did. And he's like, shoot, it didn't work. He's like, I'm gonna get in so much trouble when I get home.
What did you call him? And then he drank glass, didn't he? You gave him a bottle of so we like glass soda. And you had opened up a glass soda with a butter knife?
Yeah.
Or a knife?
I popped the top open. Bro took a sip and then he spat on the ground. He said, bro, I think there's some glass in this.
Bro, that's your first time meeting this kid. At first,
I was like, hey, Pepino.
Yeah, Pepino.
Yeah, and he didn't want it anymore, so I just took it and I chugged the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you definitely swallowed glass that day, dog.
He
I
swallowed
literally
glass.
felt it, dog.
I think I did a little too. I just didn't care.
We had a fire
It's
that
just
day.
like, I can't admit to it.
Yeah.
No, I just like soda that much.
Yeah.
Well, at least the ones in glass.
The
bottles.
glass sodas.
The authentic ones from Mexico. From Mexico.
The Mexico?
Mexico.
Yeah. No, they're good. Yeah, so we met at Wendy's.
Yeah.
About a year, 2 years. It's getting to 2 years.
It was when the door cracked in the cellar.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You got a couple Wendy's
little light
story.
came in.
You wanna talk about Wendy's story?
Wendy's story? Bro,
How long did you work there?
I worked
2
there
months, right?
4 months. 4 months.
4 months,
Yeah.
and he worked there for like
Twice as long as the average Wendy's employee.
Yeah. And I worked there for a year, bro. What are you doing to me? All right, anyways, man's worked there for a good bit.
Yeah.
He did like the full weeks, and they were like 40 hours, 50 hours, which is crazy for a high school job, because they just, I don't know, they were weird about it. They were like, oh yeah, we'll put you as part-time. They end up putting you full-time. He had enough of it, and he told the manager, hey, I'm only working Saturdays.
Yeah.
And you did. You only worked Saturdays.
Yeah, I think that was when I started. It might have been when I started school.
Yeah.
I think.
Because you grinded it out for a little bit. But she was giving you crazy hours.
Yeah, there was no respect there in that place. I'm not going to lie.
What was the craziest Wendy's story you got?
Craziest?
Yeah.
Personally?
That you can remember.
Overall?
That you could just remember.
I got a couple. I remember.
Let's do one.
I remember sitting there and then, expecting to see our manager the next day. We come
He's
in.
gonna call him out, bro.
We come in. She's gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And I'm here. I'm talking to everybody, and they're like, yeah, she got fired. I'm like, what? Because this woman was like 67. Working 70 hours a week at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Been there 40 years. Who does that?
What did she do? Can we say what she did?
I mean...
So
what happened was she got a call.
Yep, you got it.
And this guy was like, yo, we need to transfer some money.
Yep.
And she was like, yeah, I need to double check on that though. This man, I don't know how he did it. He was on some like XX spy stuff.
He got it,
bro.
though.
He had a recording of our general manager in the background.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, she heard her voice. It was like, oh, so this is legit.
Yeah.
She agreed to it. I don't know what, but it was like a Wendy's.
Yeah, he scammed.
Walmart account.
He
it's
scammed.
like a Walmart card or something.
He scammed.
I don't know how she when she saw Walmart card and not like Wendy's bank or something. I don't know. She didn't like put that together.
Yeah, I
but
know.
She got scammed like somewhere like $2,000.
Yeah, $2,000.
And so they fired her. I was like, but they were merciless, bro. Like,
yeah, she gave 40 years to that company.
Yeah, 70 hours every week. I kid you not. This woman, she had some diabetic problems, so her legs would swell up too.
Yeah, she would make sandwiches and stuff. She was a goat. She was mean, but she was a goat.
Her legs were so swollen some days she could barely walk, and she's still working.
She was loyal, bro. Let me tell you, I've never seen someone so loyal at a Wendy's.
What kind of boss fires a worker like that? I don't know.
And they were like family because like started with her.
Yeah,
like at a young age.
There are 3 people there that were working there for 40 years.
Yeah.
I saw him today. He's still there.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps saying he's gonna leave, and then he apparently he quits and then comes back.
Yeah, he always does that. He always does it.
Yeah.
Pretty manager there, right? I haven't been there. I haven't been there since I quit, bro. I haven't been there since I quit.
I mean, I've been there once or twice just for food.
Yeah.
There's no one the same there except for
Mr. Ray. Big old. He's old, bro.
But, bro, the thing, there was this girl, bro, she was crazy. Absolutely wild.
Crazy, bro. Just to have a name.
But she was like, I don't know. She was unhinged. She would say anything.
Yeah.
And I got to the point
you got molested, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I looking back at it now, I didn't really connect the dots, but she like would literally sexually assault me. like
I'm serious. I caught him in the act, bro. They were in the freezer.
Yeah, I was in the freezer.
Homie, you have no filter, bro. What if this man did not want to bring that up?
No, I don't care.
Nah, he got molested at Wendy's. Like, yo, that was so out of pocket. Like,
He did, bro.
Anyway, all right, yeah, no, continue.
Bro, but I'm
he actually got molested. She was just flirting with him.
It was like one of those moments where it's like Riz becomes like sexual assault.
She gets a restraining order. A restraining, yeah.
A restraining.
But I'm in the back doing dishes.
Yeah, you can explain the story.
She comes out of nowhere.
Get a little closer. Go ahead.
She comes out of nowhere and like just stands in front of me and just staring at me. I'm like, I don't remember exactly the conversation.
How
I was
old
just
is she?
like, yo, I think she was older.
Bro,
she's older
she
than
lied
me,
about
right?
her age all the time. She's like, I'm 17. She was like
I don't
20
know.
something, bro.
What?
She was old, bro. She was not what she said she was.
So you saying
She's
she's
never
a pedophile?
graduated. No.
What?
You're good.
No.
She was 18.
Because she was still in school.
Yeah, she just turned 18 or something like that.
But I was doing dishes and then she turned to talk, like I heard her coming in, so I turned to talk to her because she said something to me, and then she just turns around and bends over and then just starts like,
oh no,
just starts grinding on me.
Yeah, bro, they were crazy.
And I was like, yo, bro.
There's a lot of crazy stories though.
Yeah, I only worked there 4 months and I have more stories there than I do.
I have a lot. I just don't say them because they're too crazy to talk about.
Bro, the one that's not that crazy is hilarious. I was carrying like 3 boxes of fries. They're frozen, so they're a bit heavy. I was wearing these nice black pants. They might have been a little too tight. I didn't want to hurt my back, so I squat down to drop them. Bro, I just hear I feel air draft come in. I was like, nah. I look down. I just see the split. I'm like, okay. I grab my apron and I cover myself up, go straight to the bathroom. Bro, this jaunt split straight from the zipper to the belt line, bro.
You worked like that the whole day, bro.
Yeah,
April helped you out, bro.
Yeah.
She gave you your whole sweater.
They didn't let me go home.
No.
So they said wear your apron, and then my manager gave me her sweatshirt to put on the other side. So
Your sweatshirt stink, bro.
It smelled like fries.
Bro,
Yeah, okay.
Bro said he felt the wind current. Yo, that's wild.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna get into deep stuff. We're gonna get into deep stuff because this is too much. This is not good. That Wendy's has a lot of stories.
I could go on and
And
on.
now we work together at
I could keep
High
going
Concrete.
on. Yeah, High Concrete is
High
good to
Concrete.
me.
High Concrete.
How did you get into High Concrete?
Bro, I was like, I need a job and I don't want to work at Wendy's again.
Makes sense.
So I'm gonna try to find a job that takes some physical work because my dad does that, and I've always grown up helping out my dad with that. Because he did R&R for 10 years. Crazy man. He was very strong in his youth.
What's R&R?
R&R is like it's a company where they build pole barns and they do roofing and they'll do garages sometimes but they have like no safety whatsoever. They don't even care.
Yeah.
I know my dad has some like crazy stories out there. Like the one I remember the most is he was telling me that he was 40 feet up in the air on an icy 2x4. It was windy outside, no fall protection, and man's just cutting something with a chainsaw.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just asking for it at that point, huh?
No, he had no
Wow.
choice though because if he quit that job, we could have gone homeless.
Oh wow!
Like that was the only way we were feeding our family because my mom was a stay-at-home mom at the time.
Wow.
And it was a bit hard I know it was hard for my parents. I didn't know what was going on. I had no clue. I felt something was up, but I couldn't really tell exactly what was going on because their marriage wasn't doing that well at the time.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to divorce, but I mean, basically my dad just gave his life to God and like that just came together and got fixed. The marriage went straight okay. But it was at that time, it was around that time where he actually quit R&R. It was like his 11th year. He quit R&R to do the 40-day fast. And that's pretty much when he left. But because he was involved in R&R like that, there'd be some times where I would go out to help him with simple things like working on our roof, or sometimes they invite me to a job where they just replacing a shingle roof with a metal roof. So I dabbled in it a little bit, and I had to learn by watching because my dad would not go, he was not patient enough to try to describe every single thing to me, especially after doing CTC this year, learning all of it. I understand why. It's like, it's a rabbit hole, bro. But so I'm talking about that, and I'm expressing this to Omi because, like, I don't know what it was, but me and Omi clicked as soon as we met each other. Like, as soon as I saw him, bro, Miz had that same stupid smile on his face, and he was like, "What's up, bro?" And I was like, "Yo!" And acting like we knew each other already. I don't know what happened, but so we're good friends at this point, and I'm talking to him about this, and he's just like, "Bro, why don't you try to apply for High Concrete?" I was like, "Well, I don't have a ride there." And he's like, "I'll give you a ride. My dad can." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." So and then he starts telling me about how his dad is like really well known at High Concrete. So as soon as I wrote him as my reference on the paper, I was in, bro. It didn't matter.
Oh wow,
it didn't matter.
That's awesome.
And I didn't try to like slack or anything. Like I still acted like I had to work hard to get the job. So I show up, suit and tie, give everything, or not suit and tie, button up and tie. But I tell him everything, and then I actually start asking him questions. I kind of flip the table around, and then I started talking about how I saw their website and read it a little bit, and those are always good things to do. And after that interview, he was pretty much like, they didn't even sit on it for a little bit. They were like, "Come in on this day, this orientation. We'll bring you through all of that." Bro, I got the job. It was crazy.
You put my dad's name in a good sense, like.
Yeah.
It was like, you know how you ask somebody, "Oh, I'm gonna put your name down." You don't want that person to be like, you know, lazy or not show enthusiasm or anything, because like that's somebody's name. That's someone's reputation. Like,
I didn't even think about that. I'm not.
Yeah, but you did well. Like, and I knew it when I asked you, or when I told you. I was like, "Hey, just put my dad's name." I knew you were a hard worker. Yeah. I always knew that. And I knew if you were going to get into it, you were going to be fine.
I mean, you saw me at Wendy's pulling those 16-hour shifts.
I just knew it. And I told him.
I was so mad about that.
I told him. I was like, he's going to be good there. Like, he's going to be fine. Hold
on. I'm sorry. I have to pause it. You said 16-hour shifts at Wendy's.
Yeah, I wasn't even 18 yet.
Yeah.
Bro.
And they forced you?
No.
But
not really. I
find it funny because I told Omi, I said, "How long you working?" "Oh, 14-hour shifts." I said, "You know that's illegal." He's like, "What?" He's like, "For real?" I said, "Yeah, you're not supposed to work more than 8 hours." He's like, "Oh." Brody had no idea. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. It was long hours at Wendy's, bro.
Yeah.
But we got to know our people there. Like, it taught us so much.
I definitely did, because I wanted to like help the people out, because they were always understaffed, bro.
Yeah, always.
And so, but one thing that made me mad is I'd make sacrifices like that for them, and
you're not getting paid that well either. It's just like,
I poured in so much, and then they just like, I make one mistake, and they would yell at me, bro. The only manager I really liked was
one
Steven.
man. Yeah,
Steven,
you like Steve. I liked April.
He was the only one April was good.
I liked April,
but I think she slacked a little too much.
Yeah. Well, she got tired of it. She was fed up with it because she was getting treated bad too. Yeah. That whole company is just weird. I mean, I stuck through it. I did my 2 weeks. Yeah. I did my 2 weeks, and I was out of there.
I think the lesson there is because like when I started working at High Concrete, I only worked there for like, I'm trying to think. I worked there maybe around 80 days. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to school because it was just for the summer. And at the end, the last day of work, I had my boss's boss's boss, the building manager. Yeah. He came up to me and he was like, "Yo, you ever need a job? You have a guaranteed spot right here at High Concrete." And then my supervisor, my boss's boss, came up to me and he was like, "Yo, you are the top 5 one of the top 5 trainees at High Concrete. Here's my number. So if you need me, you can call me and I'll make sure you get in here."
Yeah. Explain what you're doing now with them.
Right now, I'm doing forming, building up forms and then production comes in. They put in the rebar, the wire, all that. Then they pour the concrete in there. Mm-hmm. But I was in production over the summer. Now I'm at
forming.
Yeah, now I'm at forming. But it just goes to show that like it doesn't matter how hard you work necessarily. It matters that you work hard with people that are actually trying to do their job right and that are working hard and actually trying to put an effort into their workers. Like Wendy's, they didn't give a crap. They yell at me.
It's funny because we talk about Wendy's like it was a hard job or something, but like it was more mental, I think.
Yeah,
and like just as a kid being in high school and going from school to that to an environment that you got to deal with customers that are gonna be yelling at you and managers like be yelling at you and
bro, this is gonna sound wild, but high concrete for me is easier than Wendy's.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Because
the only thing for me is my shift. I just don't like my times that I work. That's about it. Like, what time you start work? 5?
Yeah, or no, we start at 6 now. So foreman crew started at 6. They 4 to 6. It's kind of like one crew starts at 4, another crew starts at 6. They split it in half, but
you can get out 2 o'clock. Got the rest of the day.
Well,
overtime.
2 o'clock is a little short because 3:30 is 10 hours for 5 a.m. start.
Yep.
I mean 2 o'clock would be like if you started at 4, I guess maybe.
You do 2:30 then.
Yeah. But I think that's just like the big difference is I did not change the amount of effort I put in when I was working at Wendy's to high concrete, but you change your bosses and things start turning around.
Oh yeah, I mean if it's a better environment and stuff. I mean we talk about Wendy's like Wendy's is just a franchise and they pull people in and out. Where this is a company and it's just they got their own spots and you're loyal, you stay with them and they treat you nice. So no, I get that. What I wanted to ask you was what's it like being in high school and dealing with the peer pressure as a young Christian man and like everything that involves with it, and then your senior year and exiting that, and just I don't know, like how was that? How's that affect you through the years? Because you've been public schooled your whole life, right? Yeah. And me and him been homeschooled. So I just want to ask you that as a young Christian man, being with like peer pressure and kids and trying to be on the right path and knowing that certain things isn't the right thing, but you still want to be cool and like how did you get through that through the years?
So,
because I find you. Cause like bro, you're enthusiastic, like you're good with people, you know how to talk.
Yeah.
Like you got it all, but there's peer pressure, and then there's certain things that you gotta like face through, and I look at you with your faith and how strong you are with it. I know you say you don't, like I'm not sure, but
I get shaky. But the thing that makes us strong is just putting your head down and keep going. That's the only thing that keeps you alive. If you go off of how you feel or the things that affect you, you're never going to be a Christian.
Yeah. So in school, with peer pressure being like, oh, you're a Christian, and you, how do you carry yourself through the day and be like, I'm this, and I'm not going to change for you or anybody else?
Yeah, it definitely gets difficult because some things will definitely rub off onto you. Like right now at CTC. Like I'll be swearing every once in a while. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not really like a big thing. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. I still want to try not to do those things, and I think like for those who are Christians out there in public school and dealing with that pressure and all that, I'll definitely say like you are gonna feel kind of pushed out automatically because one, those people aren't with the Lord, and two, the spiritual world is always around us. You got spiritual warfare everywhere you go, so you're gonna have demons trying to separate you, trying to hurt you in some type of way, and it's not always gonna be like a spiritual warfare thing, but sometimes it is. But I just remember for me it really started in like fifth grade, I would say. Or actually I could go back younger, like trying to fit in and be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But when it really started to break was around 7th grade. I got like really suicidal. I started cutting myself and all this because people would just push me out, and I would get bullied, and I had a small group of friends. It wasn't very big. And
at a young age, they're already thinking that. Like just being an outcast in the sense.
I think I was like 12.
Yeah.
Something like that, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like when damage started happening, and I think that was around when 6th grade was around when I was actually introduced to I don't know if I can say it.
Just say something like that related to it, or like something that's
introduced to like sexual content.
Okay.
So I was at a friend's house. He was like, "Yo, you want to see something cool?" And I was like, yeah, "Whatever." And he was like, "Yo,
was
bro,
that like a
show
peer
these
pressure
pictures."
moment as well? Like knowing that you didn't even want to see that type of stuff at a young age?
I knew it was wrong.
Okay.
And so I didn't necessarily want to do it, but at the same time I was really curious.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's what kills us, curiosity.
Yeah.
Especially with the adult world and how it is now.
Yeah, it's a little different when you're a kid too. It's not like because it's more innocent.
Yeah. Yeah, curiosity.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're talking about pornography, right?
Yeah,
we're allowed to say that word. No, you're good. You're good. So you were exposed to that at what age? You said like around 5th grade, right?
Yeah, I think I was probably around. I might have been wrong on the grade. I don't know. If I go by age, I'd usually say like around like 9 somewhere, give or take 2 years.
I was around like 12.
Yeah, 12. They're like introduced to it, and then the curiosity kills, and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes
that's what really killed me.
Yeah, and it's annoying because it's the curiosity that takes over, and then for everyone around our age, they normalize it so much, where they say, "Oh no, it's not bad to watch that," or "Hey, this is normal. This is how, a young man just gets through his normal day."
Yeah.
No. But like I've heard that before. Yeah. Like, no, dude. Like you need to watch porn.
I knew kids that lost their virginity at 12, bro.
It's terrible. No. Because
we talked about last month too. How kids are these.
Because you're not even. It's just not right because you're not even actually producing like the right stuff you need. You're shooting blanks. Yeah. Because you're so young. I'm being straight up. You're so young. Right. It's like that's a huge red flag.
No, legit.
And it's not just the kids. It's the people who are older because they're getting that from the people they're looking up to. Especially like with our culture, it's just so sexualized. Mm-hmm. It's down like. For me, I got rid of social media because I couldn't be on there or else I'd get triggered. Like it.
So, did you end up like quitting it?
So I still deal with it today.
Yeah.
I think
everybody's account for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Last time I messed up was, I'm trying to think. Friday, Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, I mean. Bro,
no, legit.
No, Saturday.
No, I hear you.
Honest about it.
No. But like that's legit. Like I think I messed up probably like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying because it's like you don't even want to do it. You just more so. I know for me, it's more so like it's just a stress reliever than anything else.
Yeah.
Like when I'm super stressed and when I'm like getting mad or I'm just overwhelmed with school or work or whatever, it's like. It's kind of like an outlet where I can go to relieve that.
Yeah.
And it's like something that has formed since the age of 12. And now I'm 18. So that's 6 years of just relying on that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so hard to break that.
People talk about
no, and it's like everyone our age is so okay with it. Like I talk to people and I asked them like, "Hey, what are your views on pornography? Like, especially like if you're in a relationship." Mm-hmm. Oh, my girlfriend doesn't care. It's like that just amazes me because it's like when I think about it and I put it into perspective, I'm like, to be watching that, especially in a relationship, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because what they're doing is they're fantasizing and like
you're cheating mentally.
It goes all back to the Bible, bro. Like, what is this? This like. They made sex into like a fun thing.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, sure, it's fun, but like what it was meant for was a man and a wife.
Yeah.
To come together as one. I always go back to it. But no, I'm serious. Like
yeah, I'm being serious.
It's in it's on the Bible. Like, it's good. And God made it in our brains to be good. Like, he made those dopamines and everything to make us feel good about it. Because, like, if you really think about it, bro, who really wants to do that? Like, you feel
for those tight-knit, like, religious people, bro, the Bible literally talks about it.
Yeah.
It talks about, I forget the story, bro. No, I know the story. I just forget the names in the book of the Bible. But it talks about that story where that woman's husband died. So the brother's supposed to give her a son. So there's a legacy that goes on. It literally says that he pulls out and spills his seed onto the ground. Like, it plays no games. It literally said this man was a pullout artist, bro. I'm not even joking. The Bible, if it's in the Bible, it's because it's something that needs to be discussed. It's not something
I think they hide it too much, I think.
And that's why a lot of kids like struggle with this. And personally, I talked with my mom, and she got she'd let us get iPods and stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, she did not know that
it would be that bad.
She did not know it had that much access on the internet. She didn't even know the DS had Safari on it, bro.
Oh yeah,
a DS had Safari.
Yeah, 3DSs.
Bro, DSs
Hold
are
on,
crazy.
I'm sorry.
I know kids.
No. Wait.
That struggled young off the DS. That's where the problem started, was on the DS, bro. I'm not even kidding.
Don't think about it too hard. This is serious.
Okay, no. Can I tell you something really funny? You know, like the flip phones.
You're so down bad, bro.
No, bro. Yo, you can watch YouTube on there. Anyways, all right. No, but I was talking to my dad about this the other day. I said, like, why does it feel like my sex drive is so up here, right? Like, like almost to the point of, like, it's so hard to just stop watching it because I need to release, you know?
And then it's like every time you get control of it, it gets worse.
Dude, exactly. And I asked him, I said, why do I struggle with it so much? Especially as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you think about it, people within the Bible were getting married between 15 and 18, which means they were doing it between 15 and 18.
Yeah.
We're not meant to not be married right now. Like, we are supposed to be married at this age. We're supposed to be producing kids and starting generations at this age. But instead, our society has made it unnormal.
Yeah.
And now we're getting married at 23, 25.
I mean, that's just recently. Like,
and it goes back to hookup culture. And he's like, this is just another plot from the devil to make it harder for Christianity to stay on track, because now people are having sex before marriage. People are getting indulged into, pornography, whatever other sexual activities, because, it's they're looking for more avenues to branch off in, because those hormones are just through the roof, especially at this age, because that's how God intended it to be ultimately. And I don't know. I thought that was so interesting when you brought that up.
And this is a recent thing with the whole marriage thing. Because I'm trying to think. Back when my mom was a kid, it was not that unusual for like a 16-year-old girl to get married to like a 19-year-old guy.
Normalized
like that would not be that. That was very common. And I think the difficulty we face is that with the young marriages, commonly I'm pretty sure they were set up by parents, especially if you go back farther and farther.
Yeah,
they were set up by parents, because parents can look at someone, read them, and know what they're doing, and know they have the wisdom to discern whether or not this person is going to be good for their kid. And I personally, my mom, this is wild. She saw when she met my dad, she was like 18, I think. And she was talking to my dad, getting to know him, and she could see this beautiful, amazing, wonderful man that he is now today, that like is so selfless, does everything for her, and just is a complete servant. And then when she said when she got married, it wasn't there. But that's what he's like today. She saw she prophetically saw what he was going to be as a husband. She didn't see what he was in the moment. She saw what he was going to be in 20 years. That's crazy.
No, that's wild. And I believe that God gives people those visions or hopes to get through a hard time, or even when you go back into the book of Joseph, or not the book of Joseph, the story of Joseph, where he had those dreams about his brothers. Those dreams did not play into action until almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
After he was sold into slavery,
Facts.
got into, the kingdom, and then went into prison, and then finally got to second in command. And then his brothers came. Like, he had those dreams 20 years before. It's so crazy. I don't know. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and that's I think the
amazing.
reason why we don't get married as young today is because we don't have enough life experience to figure out who is okay, who's right to marry. That's why we have to wait till we're 18, 25, because like we're still pretty. I'm gonna be straight. We're still pretty stupid at those ages, but it's better than if you were to try to figure out when you're 16, like, who am I gonna marry? Because that's too big for a 16-year-old person to figure out, which is why I think parents did it.
And I think honestly, social media has definitely dumbed down this generation a lot with that. It's like almost it. No, I think social media has just almost put a cap on the growth of maturity for our generation, because it's showing you, especially like with these other apps like TikTok and whatnot, they show you 30-second clips and then you're done and you move on to the next 30-second clip and then move on. And it's like all this fast-paced videos, and you can't keep...
And you can be on it for hours.
Dude, legit. Yeah, now you're watching 30-second clips for 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
And now when you're having a conversation with someone, you get bored more quickly because you're used to something being told within 30 seconds. When you have a conversation for 5 minutes, you're like, oh, I can't stand this anymore.
All right, that's actually something I experienced with once I wanted to make a step forward for God.
Yeah.
Cuz I'm a man after God's heart. I want to be the closest man to God's heart possible.
Yeah.
I know it's probably not I don't know, it's a big goal, but when I took that step, I quit all social medias. I left them all behind. And what started it was actually, a lot of people don't know this. I don't even think you know this on me. I'm not going to lie. I hid this from a lot of people because I was so ashamed of it. But now I'm just like, well, without it, I wouldn't have taken the big step I needed. So what happened was I had ended up meeting this girl. We ended up talking for a while. And then I don't know what came over me, but I decided like, hey, I'm gonna ask her out. So I just asked her out. But the thing is, it was like totally like long distance. She was probably like 4 hours away. She would talk about driving down here, but the thing is, she was not like a good person necessarily. Like before we were even dating, she would like just randomly send me a boob pic. Like, I'm not even joking. Yeah. It was crazy. And so for me, that I got worse in that interaction. And I was so desperate and hungry for love, because at the same time, in 7th grade, I went to a Christian therapist. We started talking, and that's when I made a step closer to God. And so I left my whole friend, that's when the process of leaving my friend group started. I really left my friend group probably 8th, 9th grade is when I made the exit from my friend group. But the hard thing about it is, ever since then, I haven't had a friend group. I've had 1 or 2 people here. I've had Miles, Omi, I've had Clay, like very small amount of people. And what ends up happening is I'm just at home all the time. And so that's how it got worse, is because I'm so hungry for love from people that I'm searching for it in the wrong places. I'm not looking for it enough in God. And so I'm not being filled by God, being empty, trying to fill that hole. And at the same time, COVID hits. Total isolation. I'm pretty sure I was quarantined like 10 times that year, spanning from like 2 weeks to like 10 days. So that was definitely really rough for me because it gave an opportunity to grow because I wasn't talking to anyone. And at the same time, I was trying to be like a hard guy, trying to like push through everything. And it got so bad where I actually like lost all my emotions, which is now like the more I talk to guys about this, the more I realize it's a very common problem where the only two emotions I could feel is like the happiness I feel when I'm laughing and like anger, just being like totally like pissed off was the only things I could feel. And so I'm talking to this girl and I'm so suppressed and like hungry for love that I just like totally give myself to her.
Yeah.
And I end up falling in this deep rabbit hole of like, you know, trading nudes and getting into all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where she asks me if she can do the deed with me. I still, at this point in time, I still have a heart for God.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no. And what ends up happening is her mom gets in a car accident. She got hit by another car, but her mom was supposed to go to a jail and to prison in a year. But since she was high when she got hit by the car, they were like, all right, since you were high, it's 3 weeks now until you go to prison. So she started going crazy because she's 18. She got to take care of the household now by herself. How she's going to pay the bills. Her dog ends up mangling another dog. And like, so they're talking about putting down her dog. And I think on top of it, I just told her no. And I think that's why she got so upset at me. At the same time, she was looking for a guy who was going to lead, and she didn't see leadership in me because I respected her.
And we're so young, dude. Like you talk about it, but like we're young and we have to experience these things and grow. And like I get your point. Like, bro, people fall into things where they don't know how deep it gets, and you're in there and you're vulnerable with this person, and now you're like, I can't help this person, and you were just looking for love. You don't even know if you really like love this girl, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel that with the whole like the friend group thing. Isaac says it all the time. You got the people that are closest to you, right?
Dude, I used to honestly try to have as many people around me as possible. Like that was almost like my therapy in a way. Like as many people as I could get, the happier I was. And it got like excessive almost, you know? And then when I went through some difficult times within my life, you know, I'll just say when my sister passed, right? All those friends that I thought I have literally disappeared. Dude, the next day, people were telling me, I'm so sorry for your loss. But then the day after that, no one texted me. It was silent. My phone literally did not get a single notification for like weeks on out. After the most difficult time of my life, I'm thinking, wow, I thought I had so many friends. And that's when it really spoke to me because I only had a couple people reach out to me, hey, let's go do something. Yeah. And I realized it's not about quantity, it's about quality, right? And that's why I really apply that. And when I tell people, it's not about how many people you have, it's about who do you have. And right now it's my girlfriend, you know, Omi, and my father. Like those are my three main people. Yeah. My dad is my best friend. Omi's like a brother to me. And, you know, my girlfriend is like my best friend as well. Like, and it's like, I only try to surround myself with people who are going to force me to get out of my comfort zone. Because people who are going to push me almost to step backwards, I hate it. I hate it. And it's like, Omi and I were in a friend group for the longest time, and we were definitely getting too comfortable with them to the point where we could kind of see ourselves blending in with them, and we didn't like that. You know, we saw that, okay, yeah, it's fun to hang out with these people, but how they actually act is not how we want to act. And that's when we made a decision together, like, no, we got to stop hanging out with them. Mm. Yeah. And we realized that it's not about how many people you can have within your life. It's about the type of people that you do have in your life. And that's when I honestly limited my friend circle. And I still keep it limited and very small, because I honestly find more joy in just having a small friend group than so many different friend groups, because to have so many friends, it gets draining after a while. Yeah, because it's like you have to entertain so many different people.
You need time.
And it's like, no, honestly, I appreciate my alone time more than anything else now. Like I love my alone time, but yeah, no, I know Omi can relate with me on that.
I think the biggest mistake, like with people like us to make, is not to be plugged into the church. Because with as little connection as we got, that's not going to be enough to keep you in the loop. You also got to be really persistent in the word. I know this because like that's what I'm experiencing with right now. So I'm not plugging myself enough into the word, and I'm not connecting to the church enough. You gotta plant yourself in one church so you can grow, because eventually, like, people start getting involved with you. You start getting involved with them. If you jump around like church, or just skip church, you don't have enough time to grow those roots in. And so those connections, especially the Bible, are very important for us to stay consistent. But like, so with all that happened with this girl I was with, she then, like, after all that, all the chaos with like me saying no and all that to her family, she left me undelivered 4 days. So I was like, I was getting really anxious because I was unhealthily dependent on her. Like I needed her because we were on FaceTime like 8 hours a day. It was very unhealthy. So it gets to the point where eventually she snaps me back. I open up the snap as she's like full on in a spoon with another guy. And I remember I could feel my heart sink right in that moment. And I was like, and I reacted with anger because I was like, one of the only emotions I felt. So I called her up and I was like really angry about it. And then I did not expect to hear the things that she started saying to me. She was starting to say like how soft I am because I was vulnerable to her because I need love. And that's the way I show love, is be vulnerable and basically like just give it all and serve, which is proper for God, not for anybody else, except unless you're married. But so she started saying how soft I was, how weak I was, and like that I was just like something for her to do for fun in the meantime. And she kept going on. I figure she did end up doing like just having sex with this guy. And so I was broken because I was like my only hope left at that point. And I think I spent like a whole day of just like kind of like sulking and sobbing. And I got to a point where I was like I just don't want to live right now. I'd rather be dead than to deal with this right now.
That's how much pain you felt just by a girl. Like, that's crazy. What a girl has over a guy, how much pain, and like they don't realize it, and it's not their fault.
Imagine how much worse it would have been if I did end up having sex with her, because when you do that, what actually happens is your souls connect. So when you separate, like you both of you literally leave with a piece of each other. That's why it's so rough. But like it would have been so much worse. I was thinking of ways that I could kill myself. And I was thinking of like this one way with like the doorknob.
So I'm gonna do it tonight with the doorknob. I'm gonna whack my head
I'm
against.
not kidding. No,
No, I'm glad you didn't do that, bro. No, I'm so serious.
There's a certain way you can do it.
Okay, but
No.
Don't explain this to people.
I'm not gonna explain it. I was getting there. There's a certain way you can do it, but I don't want to explain it to anybody who's struggling out there with that. I'm not.
I was figuring out ways to kill myself. One of them was with a door.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it makes sense when you know how it works.
Oh my god!
You shouldn't be laughing about this, bro.
No, I'm gonna laugh about that, but that's funny. I'm sorry. Like, I hear you. I struggle with it.
Bro, girl, you can't use a doorknob, bro.
Yo, hold on. Pause. Just imagine. You go at your funeral. How did he die? Doorknob. Like.
You can laugh about it now, bro.
Cause of death, doorknob.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Bro, the autopsy.
Doorknob stuck in his head.
Yo, that was funny. sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Anyway,
I know this picture was gonna get so deep, bro. I was talking about peer pressure and stuff, man. I got into a whole rabbit hole. Well, I'm glad it did, though. I'm glad you're being vulnerable, bro. I really am.
yeah, I say vulnerability is a superpower.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Chill. Chill.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
anyway,
You made it out of
so
it.
I was thinking of ways I could do it, and then Holy Spirit spoke to me, and he was like, it was kind of like, well, there's someone who does want your life. So if you're going to give it up, why don't you just give it to them? I was like, all right, God. So I gave it to God. I didn't have a problem with sexual temptation or pornography for like 2 months, I think.
Mhm.
And I started up back again. But I was still being quarantined. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was still trying to be like a hard guy. So it kind of led me down a path where I was still trying to like fill this hole inside. I kind of fell off with God. I've been in and out with God, and I've been good now. But I was falling in and out, and this is one of the times I fell out. I fell into this. I fell into trading nudes like really bad. It was like my whole day was like committed to like trying to pull girls. It was. And a lot of people think I'm like this nice innocent guy, like especially the people at CTC. They like think I'm a saint or something. They treat me different just because how nice I am to everybody. Like I'm like, that's how nice how everyone should be. I don't understand this, but it's like I'm totally different than what I was. But I got into it so bad, and eventually I came across one of those blackmailing people. They try to blackmail me. They were like, yo, because I saw this TikTok one time about how to set up your Instagram page to look more mature. Because I was like, I wanted a girlfriend.
You did everything you could, bro.
And
It's
it ended up being my downfall because they figured out what school I go to, what year I graduate, and like all the people in my grade. And so they were like, I know the people in your class. I can send it to them all right now.
Bro.
And I was like, and they were like, I want $300 or else I'm sending it to people. And I was like, I think that was one of the worst feelings I ever had after I heard that. Because all I was searching for was like an imitation of love.
And it got you to that down of a path like where.
Yeah. Wow. And so I had no choice but to like bear the weight of the shame and like show my mom the shame I had. I like it was so rough telling my mom, because I was like, my mom made me. She birthed me, she raised me up, and now she's gonna see me like this. Like she's wondering like where I'm gonna be at in life, and now she's seeing me like in this deep. I was so upset. I was so surprised about how she reacted. Like, I got the opposite reactions of what I thought was gonna happen. I thought my dad was gonna be the graceful one, my mom was gonna be mad. It was totally opposite. But I tell my mom, and bro, God bless my mom. She came in clutch. She figured out how to deal with that. Apparently, you got to ghost the internet, which is when I gave up all social medias. I got rid of all my social medias, deleted the accounts. I think the only one I have up is like my Instagram now, but it's like shut down though. It's not like.
So you didn't end up paying the money? Like you didn't end up getting blackmailed at all? Huh?
No, and one of the people that they allegedly sent it to, I go to school with. He didn't react to me in any way the one day.
Okay, so it didn't get out to public. It just reached one person, and that was about it.
I don't think it reached anyone. I think it was a bluff, but it was like, it made it feel worse because not only that, but they were like taking this, the picture I sent, and they were like saying child rapist, like find him here, blah blah blah.
Damn, bro.
That's and crazy. So it was really tough. I think the ghosting helped, like ghosting the internet, but I think the thing that really came in clutch is my mom got smart on him, was like, hey, that's child pornography. We can get the police involved. And I think that really scared him away. And it ended there. But I just remember like,
whew. Do you think that was the deepest after the girl and then this and was like that was that rock bottom almost for you?
That was.
And then going to your mom and then going to your mom about and telling her everything that you were hiding.
Yeah, that was so hard, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the pain you go through sharing it with the people that love you is better than dealing with the pain of just falling into it again and again and again, which I will admit I'm doing like right now. I'm not telling enough people, or I'm not telling my inner circle about it enough. Like, because what happens when you fall into that cycle of sexual temptation is, even though you're doing all the right things, you're still righteous, you're still a man of God. But what happens is that falling into sin, that defeat just crushes you, and it starts to destroy your faith little by little, to the point where you feel like it's like, God, I don't even know if you're real anymore. It gets so hard, bro. That's where I'm at right now. But that's why I said earlier, you can't be a Christian if you go off of how you feel. Because right now, if I were going off of how I feel, I wouldn't be a Christian. I go straight off at the word and what God says over me. He said, like, I've had prophetic words multiple times. I heard, I'm a man like David, after God's heart. And David was a man who messed up big. You know, he messed up a lot of times, and
the heart of David.
He was still one of the people that are set pretty high in the Bible by human standards. God has us all equal, but human standards, he's pretty high in the Bible. And so it's like one of those things where it's after that, I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I gotta put in my work, and I started doing my push-ups, and God started working on me. And I think the weirdest thing for me was feeling my emotions again, having new emotions come over me that I haven't felt in like 2 years. And not only that, but learning, like, God helped teach me like what some emotions were. Like, I'd feel like this great passion after someone would do something for me. I was like, man, I got to do something for them. And then Holy Spirit was like, bro, what are you doing? That's love from them, and that passion you're feeling, that's thankfulness. I was like, what? Like, it sounds so dumb, but in the moment, like, I was feeling so passionate. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I gotta do something for them. Like, I gotta be their servant or something. So God was like, bro, chill out. That's thankfulness. Just express it. Just express how thankful you are. You don't have to do nothing unless it's for expressing your thankfulness. But that was definitely like a weird experience was like just learning those feelings again. But like all this, like the peer pressure is.
It goes back to the question, like, how was it? Like, it seemed like a lot. And
the peer pressure.
I knew it was a lot. That's why I wanted to ask you. Because, like, being post-school, being a young Christian man, going through things with online and pornography and you know, kids and how they act and how everything's normalized.
Because either they break you or you break them in a sense.
Yeah.
So they get you to fall into that. I know some friends. They're some great people. I love my people, and they're, you know, they were into alcohol a lot, and they drank a lot because they were broke by the people. But it's not really necessarily like a right path unless you have the right environment. For me, I broke the people in a sense where they were like, all right, so I don't necessarily want to be around this kid because he's like a goody man. It's like the police, like, which I found weird because I never like told, like I never snitched or anything. So it was like really, it was like, it was really strange. They were like, nah, he's not gonna be fun because he's not gonna do anything. I'm like, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that take because I was like, man, we never grew up in that environment to be like, oh, was through that pressure. Like when we figured out like pornography and like vaping and alcohol, and we were pretty older. Like we weren't sheltered, but we were at a point where we were okay. We were safe. We didn't get pressured. We had our family members tell us what was good and what was bad, and I mean for us it worked. But I know kids that are young Christian kids that are in school and they go through all this pressure, and it's really tough. And
it's. For me, it's so lonely, bro.
Yeah.
I don't got any other, like, strong Christian connections in that school. Yeah. Like, I mean, I have a few. I never seen them, though.
Yeah.
And especially at CTC, zero. Like, it's so exhausting trying to keep up that character and kind of, like, represent for God in a way. But at the same time, got to be reminded that it's not necessarily about representing for God. It's just about, like, loving people, spreading his love around. And that can be so tiring for me. But at the end of the day, I still get up and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I love God enough. I'm going to do this. I love God enough. I'm going to put in the effort. I'm going to put in the push-ups. I'm going to put in the work.
There you go.
And
I have a question. What do you mean put in the push-ups? What does that mean?
The work, man. My boy. The work. It's the disciplines and the small stuff. It all makes a big difference, and it takes it's like the muscle growth. You have to do it again and again until you get good at it.
Yeah.
Ain't no 6th grader gonna walk in here with his glasses on, with his, you know, like, Nocti books in his backpack, and he's gonna do pull-ups. My boy's gonna have to train for that.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to train for the walk.
Yeah.
Before he can walk. Mm-hmm. As Christians, we have to train we have to mentally train for our faith before we have a strong enough faith to keep us on top of the water and not in it.
Yeah, of course.
And deals with that now with you being in college and
I mean, I've been homeschooled my whole life. Well, I did cyber school throughout high school.
Yeah.
But being within public school was definitely something that was very different to me when I went into college. And it's like, dude, it's a totally different experience. Like being within your home your entire life.
Yeah.
And now being in a classroom, it's like, what the heck? And like I can't lie, like when I went into high school, when I went into college, I broke up with my girlfriend like a month after, who I was with for a whole like year and a half. And that was like the most intimate relationship I was in ever. So breaking up with her and then getting into a new atmosphere, it just kind of caused me to spiral because I was like, first of all, I was leaving someone who I was so comfortable with because I knew it wasn't good for me anymore. And now I didn't have them in my life anymore. And now I was in a totally new atmosphere, which I was not used to at all, surrounded by people who were not influencing me in an appropriate way. And I rebelled against Christianity for like a little bit, where I was just kind of just doing my own thing. And like, I told Omi this, but like, I was drinking for the first time, I was getting into that. I was cursing a lot. I was listening to a lot of secular music. That's when pornography was honestly super hard for me.
That's one thing I want to highlight is the secular music. Ain't nobody realize how much of an effect it actually has on you.
No, it's stupid, dude. Yeah, crazy.
Even if you're not listening, your soul's still listening to
no, I mean, I've done like my proper testing of it, where I force myself to listen to secular music all day, and then the next day I force myself to listen to Christian music all day, and dude, the difference is wild.
Yeah,
like the difference on your mental, how you talk, how you compute things, how you react, it's totally different. And I learned that it's like what you put into your mind is so important, and you have to be so very careful with what you watch, with what you talk about, with what you listen to, with what you do, with anything, because ultimately it's almost it's gonna build who you are. And no, it's like going into that atmosphere of public school is definitely a hard switch. And like for between September to December, I was just doing whatever I wanted because I was like, oh, this is fun. It's a new environment. And I was just, I didn't care.
That's when you called me, when you finally hit your mental break where you're like, I can't do this anymore.
And he told me that because I was out of a relationship that I was in, and I was already kind of with other people and whatnot. And Omi just looked at me. He's like, dude, you have to be comfortable with being alone before getting with someone else. And oh my goodness, I looked at him and I said, damn, dude, why'd you have to say that?
Actually, hold on.
But it was,
you got me thinking.
It was crazy when he told me that, because it's like, never have I ever thought that. For the longest time, I was always trying to fill a void with people, Yeah. And when he told me I had to be comfortable with being alone, it changed my whole mentality on everything. And that's honestly like December of last year is when I really started taking life seriously.
You got the switch?
Yeah, it was a mental switch, because even my father told me, he's like, it's time to get serious. Stop playing around. And dude, my dad's my best friend. So when he told me that, everything just switched. And honestly, like ever since then, it's like my relationship with God has been the best it's ever been. And I've been, it's crazy.
I'm gonna pull out. Sorry, I forgot. All right, I'm gonna pull out Ephesians 5, the end of 28. He who loves his wife loves himself. You can't properly have.
Let me see that. What is it?
Ephesians 5, the end of 28. You can't properly love your wife without fully loving yourself. And that's one thing I've been going over with my therapist right now. Is that
out the Bible, bro?
Yo, yikes! Yo.
So that's one thing I've been talking with my therapist about right now, is that we, well, he was telling me, not what I was saying, but he was saying that, because he went through a similar situation with me. He said, as a man, you have to love yourself fully before you're able to properly tend to a wife and raise some kids. Like, you have to be able to know who you are, be in your identity and loving before you can do all that. And he's been going over me with self-love. And I think sometimes my problem is I'll get mad at myself to the point where I actually drive myself to sexual temptation just because I'm mad at myself. It's so messed up, but he was talking to me and he's like, we were talking about words and how I'll say bad stuff about myself, especially after I mess up. And he was like, bro, you can't do that. And he's like, you hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah. He's like, I'm serious. You can't do that. And then he leans in like this and he's like, T.
Sunshine.
he leans in, he's like, T. What did God use when he created the entire universe? Created you, the creation, the ocean, the sun. What did Jesus use when he freed people from sicknesses? What did Jesus use when he expelled demons out of people? Words. Mm-hmm. And that for me was like a mind blow, because like I knew that, but I never really like knew where it came from. It's like if we are creating an image of so sorry, I gotta back up a little bit. If that is the effect of your words, what do you think happens when you say those stuff about yourself? Do you think that's actually helping you? Do you think that's not doing anything? Exactly. Do you think it's empty? Because what happens is psychologically with how our brains actually work is when you say it to yourself, it's like
you're putting it into effect.
Yeah, you're like telling yourself how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like you got to give yourself permission to walk out in the man of God you're supposed to be. And like and that's a little weird to walk right now, especially like cuz I'm figuring it out by myself a little bit. And it's definitely strange to walk into. And like now that I know it, I can see it so clearly now.
Yeah.
Like every time I fall into sexual temptation, it's because I'm not thinking highly of myself.
Yeah, no stuff.
You know, and ow.
That's you have that guilt afterwards too.
No, and
it hits you.
Yeah, and it makes it worse.
It's crazy. You know, just to kind of go back to that verse, you know, it says though he who loves his wife loves himself first, right? Yeah. That's so important because with every relationship that I've ever been in, it's like I was attending to that person before I even attended to myself.
Yeah.
And it's like I lost myself with every person that I ever got with. And it's like within the relationship that I am now, and it's like I made that commitment, like, no. I'm putting myself first. I'm putting God first. Yeah. And then I'm going to take care of myself. And then I'll be able to take care of the relationship. And it was funny because I could even tell like this is the right girl and everything because 2 weeks ago we were kind of struggling a little bit, and we kind of were like, I was getting upset because I couldn't see her for like a week because she was sick, and I was getting upset, and she's like, Isak, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I feel like you're placing all your happiness into me. And I sat there and I'm like, bro, no girl has ever told me that, but it's like it was almost like a reality check. Like, whoa, like, bro, what person has the balls to say that? Honestly, yeah. Like, because it's almost like a compliment. Oh, you place your happiness into me? Yeah, but that's not how it should be. Absolutely not. You should place your happiness into God, and everything else should fall into place. And when she said that to me, I was like, yeah, no, I should not be doing that. I should have my other ways of, you know, God should ultimately be that source. And when she said that, it kind of reminded me, like, I got to get back on track. And, like, I apologize to her. Like, I'm sorry for not leading the way I should be. I messed up. Please allow me to please forgive me. Allow me to get back on track.
All right. You ready for this?
It's trying to focus up.
Because if you're serving your wife, how are you going to serve God?
What does that mean?
If you're focusing on serving your wife, how are you going to focus? How are you going to be serving under God?
Well, God also tells us that we're put on earth to serve others, right?
Yeah. So we do that for God. But if the blinders are put on away from God, then we are no longer serving for God. We're serving for ourselves in a way.
If we're serving others for God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't serve others and not have the intention of serving God. We have to serve others by serving God.
So in the situations you've been in with relationships and situations I've been in with relationships, we're in reality we're serving those people for ourselves.
I'm putting God on the back burner, and I'm now almost idolizing that person. Yeah. I'm putting that person up on the pedestal, and I'm taking God off, and now I'm putting them back on.
Because then where's the service everywhere else?
Yeah, exactly.
There's none.
No,
you're too focused on this chick that you want to make happy.
And it's just that. I mean, it's like I've seen a difference. It's like when you have God on the pedestal versus when you have a girl on the pedestal.
It's crazy,
dude. When I have a girl on the pedestal, I stop going to the gym. I stop focusing on my school. I stop eating healthy. I stop hanging out with my friends. I stop caring about what I'm listening to, what I'm doing, and everything that I'm doing is just on her.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have God on the pedestal, now my life is aligning with him. So now I'm going to the gym because I want to, now I'm building myself to be better, but ultimately it's for God. So with God on that pedestal, everything else just falls into place.
Yeah, because, and two, if you're serving a woman, then you're going to miss some aspects of what's actually needed. Cause, and it also bears such a weight on your shoulders, bro. Because then when she's not happy, that's your problem. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me. Is I remember my brother, he was really clear on boundaries. And that's one thing I love about my brother. I remember one day I was really upset with him and I was talking to him. We were arguing and he said, we were going back and forth and stopped me and he was like, Teague, it is not my job to make you happy. And it was like such a bomb on me, bro. I was like, whoa. And so thinking about that and applying it to yourself, it's in reality, it's not really your job to make your wife happy. Because like there are some things she just won't be satisfied with because we're all human. Unless she's under God and that thankfulness or rejoicing, actually, if you take rejoicing and go through definitions and define words, it's ultimately kind of like an expression of thankfulness. So if you have your thankfulness and rejoicing, it changes your perspective. And I've actually applied that to like when I'm being tempted.
Yeah.
You'd be so surprised how much it helps to sit there and say what you're thankful for. When you're being tempted.
Y'all giving me a lot of views on different things now, because like I tend to go for people's needs and like, okay, I'll make you happy. Like I'm pretty big on that.
Yeah.
And I've slowed down a little bit. Well, even with girls, I want to make them happy. But I realized I go weeks without talking to someone, and then on a special day we'll talk. And I realized like how focused I am during the week. It hurts me because I want to talk to that person.
Yeah.
But throughout that whole week, I'm so focused on myself. I'm focused on God. I start missing the person in a good way, not in a sad way. Yeah. It's where I'm happy that when I do get to see him, it's just all joy, And you guys make me like realize that it's like you can't make that person just be your only happiness, because at the end of the day, it's God. Yeah, you have that person; they're gonna make you happy, but they're not your end all and be all.
And that's why it's such a hard weight on our shoulders as people, is because that's God's job. That's not our job. That's God's job to attend to that person, not ours. Not until at least you're like married. And then it changes, the fields change a little bit. But in that space in between, nah.
No, absolutely. And it's like, it's, I definitely think when you do place that person on a pedestal and you lose that person, it hurts so much more because
big facts.
You were, idolizing that person to the point where it's like now that you lost him, it feels like you lost everything. And now it feels like a void within your heart that you're missing. Whereas when you have God on that pedestal, if that girl leaves or you break up with that girl, you still have God to fall back on.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it almost feels like you've had nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, no, that's
and one thing
absolutely.
I think about, like, when you're upset and you're trying to deal with something, especially like especially after falling into sexual temptation, if you're not going to God, then what are you going to? If you're not going to God about what just happened, then you're going to something else about it. You're going to YouTube, trying to like forget what just happened. You're trying to drink. You're trying to smoke. There's something you're doing instead of going to God, where that's a place for God to take, which is ultimately why it's more destructive.
Yeah.
It's because it's God's spot, not YouTube's spot, not drugs or.
So we've been talking about sexual temptation a lot, right? And it's like, honestly, it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with in volleys. And
it's good to talk about.
Yeah, no, 100%. But like, what strategies do you use to make sure you don't fall into it?
All right, bro. Well,
and I'm not, I know we're not perfect, but
yeah,
in a world where we are, what strategies do you think would help you out of that?
All right. So what made it better for me, it's now like once every 3 or 4 days. Yeah. It's not, because for me, it was bad. It was like 3 times a day, an hour at least for each time.
Yeah, you want to get to a point where you're just
I'm not kidding. At all, right? It was like, so depressing, bro. Yeah. I hated myself for it so much. Yeah. I had such a rage for myself.
It's because you start to put that thing on the pedestal.
Yeah. And it's like
yeah, no, it's crazy.
And one thing, so I'm just going through all this and I start reading more. In James, it talks about confession. You confess your sins, and then y'all pray about it. And then, but it goes deeper because you look at prayer, and James talks more about prayer in it. Prayer comes through the act. Prayer comes through action, not just prayer. Like, praying can be good, but there are times where it needs some action. Example, David in the Bible. So the lion took the sheep. David prayed. Did he stop? Did he stop there? Or did he pray and then just sit there and wait for God to do something about it? He prayed about it, went after the lion, and then God used him to fulfill his prayer. Like, our actions sometimes are important to the fulfillment of some prayers. And so we as people, for us, that lion is pornography. And the lamb that it's stolen is our purity.
Damn, that's wild.
We can't.
Sunshine.
Take it easy, bro.
I thought we were gonna laugh most of the time. We got
man, that's funny.
That's good. It's good.
So
it's good.
We can't just sit there and pray about it and be like, God, deliver me. I mean, one thing you can pray for, I've been praying for, is God, give me the desperation to get out of it.
Ooh. No, I sometimes I pray for that. I pray like, God, like, help me to be disgusted by the temptation.
Yeah.
To
hate it.
To hate it.
Because
build that hatred.
They don't got the I'm stuttering so bad.
It's okay, bro.
They don't have the desperation to try to walk out of it.
No, and
they'll just sit there and be like, I can't get out of it. What's the point? Or it's not that bad.
And it's honestly, at the end of the day, it's all a mentality switch. When you tell yourself you want to, that's when you're gonna do it. Kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like, you do what you tell yourself what you can do. Like what you're talking about with your therapist, and that's what it is. And it's like, I was talking to my dad about this, and he's like, when I was younger and I used to struggle with that, he said, I would get down on my knees if I was going to sleep, right, after a full day of work, and I'm trying to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and now I'm getting tempted. He's like, I got out of my bed, went on my knees, and pray until I wasn't tempted. And most of the times, I would wake up on my knees the next day. He's like, I never went back into my bed. He's like, but that's how you have to tackle that temptation. It's like constant prayer, because sexual temptation is the hardest temptation. That's what God says. And it's the one temptation that you have to run away from. God doesn't tell you to face it, head on. It's the one temptation. He says, run away from it.
And it's one thing too, is like, what are you running to? And that fact of like, if you're not going to God about it, what are you going to?
No, literally.
Like, you have to run to God, or else it's just gonna get worse. I kind of like a rule book for this stuff.
And it's like that's honestly, hold on, I'm sorry, I had to trace it back. You said, what are you running to? That's so interesting, because I never even thought about that. It's like you have to run away from it. But what are you then running to? Because if you're not running to God and you're running to maybe to go hang out with friends, who now they're going to talk about sexual stuff, you're not really running away from it. Holy cow, bro. You just gave me like an epiphany. No, that's wild. Because I would think about that. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, no, I'm running away from it. But now I'm going to go hang out at my friend's house. And now they're going to make sexual jokes, and I'm going to go back home and still feel the same.
Because now that's in your head. And the more
now it's probably even worse.
Thinking about it, the more it's going to be there.
Now I'm going to go for a run and listen to music that I was talking about sexual. Damn.
It's like, what's it called? You know the game? There's a game where you... Sorry for those people that are playing the game. But once you start playing, you can't stop. But the whole idea of the game is that if you remember the game, you lose. That's the whole game. So the idea of the game is to try to remember it. And for those who know it and those who don't know, is like the more it comes up, the more people will be like, I lost the game. Then it clicks, you remember that, and then you start thinking about it more and more. Like it, and it's the same way with pornography.
What game are you talking about?
It's the game. I just explained it to you. The whole game.
He's like, are you stupid? Oh no, wait. Is this something that you download on your phone?
No.
Are you talking about like a mental game?
It's something you play with friends. So the game is you just try not to remember it. And once you remember it, you say, I lost the game, and it makes everyone around you lose the game. So, like, now that you know...
I can't lie, I'm lost.
All right, so, like, let's say we're sitting here. Let's say we're sitting here. And we're like, yo, let's play a board game. It makes you think of the title of the game is The Game. It makes you think of the game. So you say, oh, I lost the game. And once everyone else hears that, it reminds them of the game, making them lose.
It's what you put out there, is what you're saying. It's what you feed out there, and the people take it in, and now everyone's gonna feel the same way about it.
What? I don't know how you make it. Okay, so but the idea I'm saying is like, it's like you sit there.
We hit a dead end, guys.
No, you didn't. You all just you're a little stumped here.
Let's just move on from that. All right, keep going.
But
Try.
The idea of it is that the more you remember the game, the more it's gonna enter your mind, because other people around it are gonna be saying it, causing you to think about it, and the more you think about it, more it burns into your memory. It's the same concept with pornography. If you think about pornography, the more it's gonna enter your mind, and that's why it says in the Bible, like don't let it nest on your head. It's kind of a metaphor. Don't let the thought stay in your head. Kick it out as soon as possible. Take captive of the thought and kick it out. And you gotta confess it. And Omi knows this. I was straight up with Omi when I was there because I was like, I don't want to fall into anything. I'd be like, yo, Omi, I'm finding this one chick working with us really attractive right now. Please watch me. I'd be straight up like that.
I remember.
Straight up.
I remember, bro.
Dude, this chick at Wendy's. Yo, keep me on track, bro. I'm about to jump off the rails.
Bro, it's that. It gets to a point.
Watch out, she don't pull the curly fries.
Bro, the way she be deep frying that chicken, man. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Continue.
But
I think it lighthearted.
we just gotta try to not think of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's like any topic really. The more you talk about one topic, the more you're gonna remember it and think about it in every situation.
But I agree with that.
Amen.
But then what?
6, just let you know.
But then what happens? Because at the end of the day, we're in a world where we're just surrounded by it.
That's why you disconnect from all social media. That's one of the things in my rule book is letting go to social media, replacing with the Bible.
I hate you. I can't lie, bro, because I cannot even front with you, bro.
It's funny as we do this.
No, because it's so stupid. Because
you got Spotify, right? You can listen to this on Spotify. You got Spotify? Please tell me you got.
What happened?
You got Spotify?
he's lost.
Yeah.
Let me say what I'm about to say.
Okay, good.
It's so annoying because I've been thinking like I really gotta stop this. Honestly, like I'm tired of this crap that I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, the first thing in my head was I gotta delete social media. I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. I hate to do that.
I got you.
And
I got you.
I'm
Bro. Right
like,
after you say this, I got you.
Frick. I'm like, damn it. And then I told my girlfriend, and she was like, yeah, that might help. And then I told my dad, and he's like, gotta put that in your head for a reason. I'm thinking, oh. And then I talked to Omi, and Omi's like, the pure kid out of the group, and he has no social media. I'm like, so for him it's obviously worked. And now it's in my rule book, man. You have to delete it. I'm like,
Yes, this is the chance now, bro.
damn.
The only way that you can keep social media is if you don't have a problem with temptation. That's the only way.
But you can get back into it slowly.
Because the idea with sin is that some people come and they kill their sin, right? they pulverize it into the ground, but the sin is like freaking Freddy Krueger, bro.
It's around them all the time.
It comes back to life.
Yeah.
You can't kill it once and be like, I'm good now. Because then what happens is you're clean for 2 months. What happens after that? You fall back into it again. Well, you gotta.
What's around us, bro?
Every day. This is why it says putting yourself on the cross, dying to yourself. You gotta kill it every day, bro. Because the flesh will lead you to sin, and that's what it also talks about. It's better to cut off your right hand
if it causes you to sin.
If it causes you to sin, even if it's good. I use this hand to work.
Hey, I can't cut this off.
I hammer nails. Like, I need this hand to work, or else I can't work at where I work right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be there. But God is saying, if that is what causes you to sin, kill it. Cut it off. It doesn't matter what you think is good. Cut it off, bro.
Yeah,
that's what God is saying all the time to us. And that's why I tried that. That's why I got rid of it. Ultimately, been better for me because temptation got better. And I'm not as socially awkward as I used to be. I'm not even joking, bro. I used to be really socially awkward. And so that's like one of the ones in my rule book is just, if it causes you to fall into it, cut it off, bro. Another one I follow in my rule book, devices always in public settings, never in private settings. Like if this were my room, phone would not be down here. It can't. I do not allow it.
I do not allow it.
Because especially if it's late night and you're tired and something bad happened, and then a sexual.
I like this rule book, but I don't like this rule book.
and then a sexual joke you heard your friend say.
Oh my gosh, I hate that,
hand again,
dude.
And then it just keeps recycling, and just like the game, you keep thinking more and more about it, and then you spot that device out of the corner of your eye while you're half asleep. And then the more you think about it, the more it grows. Yeah. That's why I said you can't let it nest in your head. That's the nesting that's happening. Is that joke pops in, you start thinking about it more. You spot the device, it keeps like it gets worse. That's the nest. You gotta take captive of that thought and like just throw it out. I call them my RP laws, my repentance laws, because there was a point in time where I was so done with my sin where I was like, okay, God, every time I mess up, I'm gonna make another rule for myself to try to prevent this. So that's when I started leaving devices downstairs. Recently, I've been terrible on that, and recently I've been doing worse with my temptation. I ain't following.
It just shows you how good the rules did work.
Yeah. And I even put scripture on my bathroom door so that when I'm walking in my bathroom, I spot that and I can read it and I can try to declare it out loud. But it don't work if you don't read it and declare it as truth over yourself. Mm-hmm. Like I think I got like 7 verses up there to resist temptation. Oh. But there's still times where I walk right past it and I still fall into temptation because I'm not putting that effort. So that's where the push-ups come from. You really don't want to read the scripture when you're being tempted. We all know that. When you're being tempted, that's like one of the last things you want to do.
You put the blindfold on, walk past it, yeah.
And so that's the push-up part, is sitting down and taking the moment to stand up and pray. And remember, praying comes with action. And you got to run to something. So you gotta back away from... You got to back away from what's bothering you.
Yeah.
And you got to run to God. Because there's sometimes where people just run into pornography because they're trying to run away, but they end up running into it.
This was good. I didn't think this pod was going to go to this, but I'm glad we talked about it. Like, I really am. Because I know you struggle with it. We all struggle with it, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was in it 2 years clean. I got into a relationship. It brought that sexual tension up again, and I was pretty bad for a while. And then recently I've been really good. Like, I never really got deep into it, like maybe Isaac has or you has, and that's not telling that I'm better. Yeah. Because I'm not. Yeah. I still mess up. But I've learned to shut it off in other ways. And relationships help, especially the one with God. But just normal relationships, and knowing that person, what would that person think of me? And I think that's what always like kept me away from stuff. You know?
That's one thing too for the people out there that's like, I'm not gonna tell nobody I got God. Stop it. Yeah. Shut up.
Tell people.
No, like, I mean, literally,
it's so funny because it's like,
hold on, let me say this quick. I'm sorry. I'm really passionate about this. Literally in Genesis, it says God created man and said it is not good for man to be alone. God was there. He was in the garden with Adam. He said it's not good for man to be alone. He created Eve. In that moment, God was literally saying, I'm not good enough for you on earth.
You know, and
he is in heaven. In heaven, that's fine. On earth, like, God fulfills everything. And it's not going against God. He actually provides people for us. He provided Eve for Adam. So it's still from God. It's still through God. But God said, you need more outside of heaven.
And it's crazy, honestly, that you say that. Because me and my dad agree on almost everything. But we had this conversation. I told him, like, with the person that I was with previously, I told him, like, do I tell her that I'm struggling with this? He's like, no. Like, no, keep this to yourself. And I wondered to myself, I'm like, why am I keeping this?
Wait, tell who?
The girl that I was with previously, my ex. I said, do I tell her that, like, I'm struggling with this? And he's like, no. Like, you don't want to get that vulnerable where she could use it against you. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, who cares if I'm vulnerable? I want to stop. And if I need to go and tell people about it so I can become vulnerable, so that it's almost like, yo, I'm putting myself out there. Now I can't fail. It's almost like I'm keeping myself accountable by telling people, because if you're just keeping it hidden in the dark, no one's gonna know. Whereas no one is gonna have that almost behind your name of that reputation. That made no sense. Hold on, I'm sorry. No, I think it's better to almost tell people when you're struggling with something, because when you do that, it takes that. I lost it.
It's okay.
Nah, it's alright, bro. I have something to say anyway. So
No, I lost it. I lost it. Damn, dude, I lost that point completely.
I wanted to stop you right there and be like, okay, well, yes, you want to confess, but you can't just tell anyone. There's certain people. You have to have a circle. That's what I was talking about earlier. There's a circle of people you can go to talk to. A mentor, therapist, parents. You never want to confess to a woman one-on-one. Never. Not a good idea.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
It's not appropriate.
Why?
And if she
So sorry. My phone died. Okay, we're gonna continue.
all right. Well, you can't treat you can't confess to woman because a woman knows how to talk to a woman. Like, you're not gonna do as good of a job talking to a woman as a woman would, because they know each other better in and out. They know how they work. Plus, we're very different. We're more like, we just work differently. I'm just gonna say it. We're more sexual beings. They're more emotional. That's how it is. Mm-hmm. So it's not gonna work out if you confess to a woman.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm mixed about it. I've been mixed about it because I don't think it's bad to be vulnerable to a woman, but I feel like there has to be a rock.
I think as long as you have another person there, I think it's all right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's good.
Cool with that?
Yeah.
Good pod. I was happy with it.
Oh, that's what we're gonna end with?
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to end with something else.
Good pod. Good pod.
That was a good pod. I like it.
Good pod. Sound like someone who vapes. That was a nice pod. Oh my gosh. I need my flavored air. How am I supposed to get through this school day?
Okay, I know. Rest. Yeah, we're gonna rest.
Dude, something I forgot to ask the last ghost. Yes, so sorry. What is one thing that you want to tell everyone that's watching?
Oh shoot!
Drop a piece of wisdom. Look into the camera. All right,
Bro,
hold on.
Bro,
No. Just lean into the middle. Lean into the middle.
Little bit.
Lean.
All
Then
right,
look.
Stay
Then
there,
look.
Stay there.
No, lean more. Lean more. Lean a
little more. A little more.
No, go down.
God, you're too tall.
Go down!
Bro, I'm falling out.
Right there! Now say something.
I gotta think about it.
You have 5 seconds. Come on.
Let me think, bro. All right, I'm gonna just use my quote. Don't use your disabilities as an excuse. Use them as a reason to inspire people.
Damn, look at my neck.
Huh?
I said, don't use your disabilities as an excuse. Use them as a reason to inspire people.
Okay.
Like this.
Alright, As the end of episode 6, see y'all next week. Adios.